Hello everyone. Welcome to IAS. Let's discuss today's prelims topics. Question 1 with reference to PM Pranam, recently approved by Cabinet, consider the following statements. 1. It stands for PM Program for Revival, Afforestation, Growth, Nourishment and Amelioration of Mother Earth. 2. To incentivize states to promote alternative fertilizers and reduce reliance on chemical fertilizers. 3. Aimed at saving the soil and promoting sustainable balanced use of fertilizers. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is B. It stands for PM Program for Restoration, Awareness, Generation, Nourishment and Amelioration of Mother Earth. The scheme was announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in her budget speech in February. Sulfur-coated urea is more economical and efficient than other kinds of urea. For instance, the nitrogen absorption in conventional urea is 30%, neem-coated urea is 50% and nano-urea is 80%. Sulfur-coated urea will increase nitrogen absorption efficiency to 78%. Question to consider the following statements about the American bald eagle. 1. The American bald eagle is on the United States endangered species list. 2. They were adopted as the USA's national symbol in 1782. 3. DDT or dichlorodiphenyltrichloroethane was extremely effective as an insecticide but had a catastrophic impact on the bald eagle population. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is B. The American bald eagle was removed from the United States list of endangered species on 28 June 2007. Once upon a time, bald eagles were abundant across the United States. When they were adopted as the country's national symbol in 1782, there were as many as 100,000 nesting birds in the continental United States, including Alaska. However, their populations began to decline in the early 1800s. Bald eagles began to be seen as a threat to livestock, especially domestic chicken, and started to be hunted. Often, counties placed bounties on bald eagles ostensibly to protect farmers' interests. Hunting intensified in the latter half of the century, when feather hats became a fashion staple. While the Migratory Birds Treaty Act came into force in 1918, populations steadily declined till about the 1940s. This compelled the US Congress to pass the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act in 1940, expanding protections and prohibiting even the possession of eagle feathers. DDT or dichlorodiphenyltrichloroethane was first synthesized in 1874. However, it was in 1939 that it was first promoted as an insecticide and began to be used to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes and agricultural pests. By the mid to late 1940s, DDT was being widely used for agriculture across the US. While extremely effective as an insecticide, DDT had a catastrophic impact on the bald eagle population. Question 3 with reference to critical minerals, consider the following statements. 1. Recently, the Center has identified 30 critical minerals, including lithium, cobalt, nickel, graphite, tin and copper, which are essential for the country's economic development and national security. 2. Most countries of the world have identified critical minerals as per their national priorities and future requirements. 3. These are minerals that are essential for economic development and national security, and the lack of availability of these minerals or the concentration of extraction or processing in a few geographical locations could potentially lead to supply chain vulnerabilities and even disruption of supplies. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. All three. D. None. The answer is C. One of the definitions cited in the report characterize a mineral as critical when the risk of supply shortage and associated impact on the economy is relatively higher than other raw materials. This definition of a critical mineral was first adopted in the US, and the subsequent legislation that resulted from the analysis, the report said. The European Union also carried out a similar exercise and categorized critical minerals on the basis of two prerequisites: supply risk and economic importance. Australia refers to critical minerals as metals, non-metals, and minerals that are considered vital for the economic well-being of the world's major and emerging economies, yet whose supply may be at risk due to geological scarcity, geopolitical issues, trade policy, or other factors. Question 4. Consider the following statements about Mera Pabi. 1. Mera Pabi, Women Torch Bearers, is a women's social movement in the Indian state of Mizoram. 2. It derives its name from the flaming torches which the women carry while marching through city streets, often at night. 3. They do marching only as a protest, seeking redress against human rights violations committed by paramilitary and armed forces units against the innocent. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. All three. D. None. The answer is A. Mera Pabi, Women Torch Bearers, is a women's social movement in the Indian state of Manipur. Contextualized, Mera Pabi was founded at a time when the people of Manipur were fighting for self-determination, political autonomy, and independence. It derives its name from the flaming torches which the women carry while marching through city streets, often at night. They do so both as a patrol and in protest, seeking redress against human rights violations committed by paramilitary and armed forces units against the innocent. Question 5. Consider the following statements about the UN's report on children and armed conflict. 1. The United Nations has taken India off a list of countries mentioned in a report on children and armed conflict over the alleged recruitment and use of boys by armed groups in J&K and their detention, killing, and maiming by security forces. 2. India has been removed from the report in 2023 in view of measures taken by the government to better protect children. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. Both. D. None. The answer is C. This is the first time since 2010 that India has not been named in the report alongside countries like Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Lake Chad Basin, Nigeria, Pakistan, and the Philippines. Question 6. Consider the following statements about Global Environment Facility, GEF. 1. The GEF was established ahead of the 1992 Rio Earth Summit and includes 184 countries in partnership with international institutions, civil society organizations, and the private sector. 2. It is the largest source of multilateral funding for biodiversity globally and distributes more than $1 billion a year on average to address interrelated environmental challenges. 3. The GEF Secretariat is based in Geneva and reports directly to the GEF Council and Assembly, ensuring that their decisions are translated into effective actions. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. All three. D. None. The answer is B. The GEF Secretariat is based in Washington, D.C., and reports directly to the GEF Council and Assembly, ensuring that their decisions are translated into effective actions. The Global Environment Facility, GEF, is a multilateral environmental fund that provides grants and blended finance for projects related to biodiversity, climate change, international waters, land degradation, persistent organic pollutants, POPs, mercury, sustainable forest management, food security, and sustainable cities in developing countries. It is the largest source of multilateral funding for biodiversity globally and distributes more than $1 billion a year on average to address interrelated environmental challenges. In addition to funding projects through grants and blended finance, the GF also serves as a financial mechanism for the following conventions: Convention on Biological Diversity (CBD), United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change (UNFCCC), United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification (UNCCD), Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, Minamata Convention on Mercury. Question 7. Consider the following statements about National Research Foundation (NRF) recently approved. 1. This will foster a culture of research and innovation in India's universities, colleges, research institutions, and laboratories. 2. An estimated outlay of 5,000 crore rupees has been allotted to the NRF for the next 10 years, 2023 to 1933. 3. The NRF will be an apex body to provide high-level strategic direction of scientific research in India. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is B. An estimated outlay of rupees 50,000 crore has been allotted to the NRF for the next 5 years, 2023 to 1928. Essentially, the NRF will promote, fund, and mentor scientific research in higher education institutions across the country. The NRF will forge collaborations among the industry, academia, government departments, and research institutions. It will create an interface mechanism for the participation and contribution of industries and state governments in addition to the scientific and line ministries. The NRF will be administered by a board consisting of eminent researchers and professionals across disciplines, as per the Cabinet. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be the president of this governing board. Question 8. What are zero FIRs? 1. In contrast to an FIR, which is filed based on jurisdiction, a zero FIR can be filed at any police station. 2. The objective is to allow authorities to act quickly. 3. It is a relatively new concept that was introduced in the aftermath of the 2012 Nirbhaya gang rape case on the recommendation of the Justice Verma Committee. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. The answer is C. After a police station registers a zero FIR, it has to then transfer the complaint to a police station with the jurisdiction to investigate the alleged offence. Once a zero FIR is transferred, the police station with the appropriate jurisdiction assigns it a serial number, thereby converting it into a regular FIR. Thank you, everyone. Do subscribe to this channel. Use code SPLIVE to join Unacademy.